Level 1, the desperate dreamer. At 23, you are not a bank robber. You are a tired person in a small room, staring at bills that seem to multiply when you blink. Rent is late. The fridge hums louder than your phone. Your account has $42 left, and every payment reminder feels like someone tapping a nail into the door. You tell yourself you are only thinking, not planning, just imagining, just wondering what kind of life other people get to have when money does not follow them, like a shadow. Then a bad idea arrives dressed like rescue, one desperate act, one risk, one envelope of cash, enough to breathe again. That is the lie. It sounds powerful because your life feels powerless. It sounds simple because stress has made your world small. You picture walking away different, but you do not picture the cameras, the witnesses, the sleepless nights, the way fear can move into your body and refuse to leave. You make one search you know you should not make, then close the screen like that erases the thought. It does not. The thought waits. It follows you through cold leftovers, unpaid envelopes, and another night without sleep. This rank is not crime yet. It is the first trap. Believing a ruined choice can fix a ruined month. By sunrise, nothing has changed outside your room. But inside you, a line has moved closer, and that is already dangerous today before you face anyone. Level 2. The first bad decision. Soon after, you cross the line. You once promised yourself you would only imagine. You told yourself it would be quick, simple, almost unreal. But the moment it happens, your body refuses the story. Your hands shake. Your mouth goes dry. Each face in the room becomes a witness. Every camera feels like an eye that has already memorized you. Time does not speed up like in movies. It stretches. Seconds feel heavy enough to bend your knees. When you leave with stolen money, the air outside does not feel free. It feels louder. A siren makes your stomach drop, then fade away. You look at the money and wait for relief, but relief never arrives. The money looks less like a solution and more like proof. You hide it instead of spending it. You avoid mirrors because your face seems different. You wash your hands twice, then again, as if panic has a smell. That night, every passing car slows in your imagination. Every hallway sound becomes footsteps. Every news alert makes your heart hit your ribs. No one is cheering. No music plays. The fantasy of escape has turned into a room with no door. You realize the worst part is not being caught immediately. It is not being caught yet, because now your mind has to become the jailer. Before this, you were broke. Now you are afraid, and fear charges interest. By morning, the bills are still there, your problems are still there, and the first thing you bought with the money was a life you can no longer relax inside. Level 3, the small-time robber. Months later, you make the worst mistake a frightened person can make. You confuse survival with skill. Because the first crime did not end with handcuffs, you tell yourself you are careful, maybe even smarter than the people looking for you. But your life is not bigger. It is smaller. You stop going to places where people know your face too well. You delete posts before sharing them. You pay cash, and then worry that cash itself looks guilty. A police car passing in the opposite lane can ruin an entire afternoon. A friend asks why you seem distant, and you lie so quickly it scares you. The money disappears faster than you expected because you cannot spend it like a normal person. Rent gets paid, a debt goes quiet. Maybe you buy something small and pretend it was nothing, but every dollar feels dirty in your pocket. Local news mentions another unsolved case, and even when they do not name you, your chest tightens like they almost did. You become a person who checks windows, lowers your voice, and listens too hard when strangers laugh nearby. Even sleep changes because dreams start sounding like footsteps outside your door. You wanted air. You built a cage. This is the small-time rank. Not power, not freedom, not some movie version of being dangerous. Just nervous days stitched together by secrets. The world keeps moving, but you move through it like someone carrying glass under his shirt, afraid one ordinary bump will make everything break. Level 4, the local wanted name. A year or two into the spiral, you stop feeling invisible. The story around you begins to take shape without your permission. A blurry image appears on a segment. A vague description gets repeated by people who do not know they are standing near the truth. Someone jokes that the person on the screen walks like you, and your laugh comes out too fast. Investigators start visiting people connected to places you used to go, not loudly, just enough to remind you that patience can be more terrifying than sirens. Ordinary life becomes a field of traps. Buying groceries feels exposed. Getting gas feels exposed. Calling family feels exposed because you can hear worry hiding behind their normal questions. You want to tell them everything and nothing at the same time. Your name is not printed across the news yet, but your body already lives like it is. You study faces to see if they recognize you. You avoid old friends, then wonder if avoiding them looks suspicious. The money that was supposed to solve problems now creates new rules for every day. Spend too much, and people notice. Spend too little, and you stay trapped in the same panic that started this. The cruel part is hearing strangers tell your story like entertainment while you stand silent beside them. They get details wrong, they invent motives, they laugh at the fear you are living inside. This rank is where the walls move closer. You are not a legend. You are a rumor with a pulse, waiting for one person to say your name in the wrong room. Level 5. The Crew Liability. By your late 20s, you stop trusting your own fear and make the next bad choice. You bring other people into the secret. At first, the word crew sounds like protection, more eyes, more nerve, more people telling you the risk can be controlled. But fear does not divide evenly. It multiplies. One person talks too loudly after drinking. One person wants more money than agreed. One person shows off to someone he wants to impress. Every weakness now has your future attached to it. You sit in quiet rooms listening to people promise loyalty, and all you can hear is the panic under their voices. Arguments start over nothing, then over everything. Who did the most? Who got too little? Who is being watched? Who is acting strange? The money becomes less like a prize and more like poison poured between friends. You notice a girlfriend asking questions. A cousin suddenly knowing too much. A rumor traveling farther than it should. Nobody has to betray you yet for betrayal to enter the room. It is already there, breathing with everyone else. You used to fear cameras and sirens. Now you fear loose mouths, hurt pride, desperate texts, and the way a frightened man begins to think about saving himself before anyone else. The more hands touch the secret, the less control you have over where it goes. And everyone knows it. This rank teaches the ugliest lesson. A criminal crew is not a family. It is a room full of people hoping someone else breaks first, while pretending the word loyalty can hold them together. Level 6. The Major Case Target. By 30, you realize the story has moved beyond local whispers. You are not only a nervous man with dirty money anymore. You are a file, a pattern, a name spoken in rooms you will never enter. Serious investigators begin treating the case with patience, and patience is worse than noise. Sirens fade. News clips end. But somewhere, people keep asking questions, checking old connections, comparing dates, interviewing anyone close enough to remember a detail you forgot you left behind. Your phone feels unsafe even when it is silent. Friends feel unsafe even when they smile. Travel feels unsafe because every new place has cameras, records, and strangers who can look too long. Even every silence feels like evidence waiting nearby. You meet a lawyer and hear words that make prison stop being an idea and become math. Charges, years, evidence, cooperation, sentence. For the first time, you understand that law enforcement does not have to panic. They can wait. They can build. They can let fear make you sloppy while they remain patient. You try to keep living, but normal life is gone. A knock at the door freezes your lungs. A message from an old contact looks like a trap. A family member says investigators asked about you, and the room tilts. The money is almost meaningless now. It cannot buy back quiet. It cannot erase a file. It cannot make the people around you safe from your choices. This rank is where the chase changes direction. You are no longer moving the story forward. The story is moving toward you, steady, official, and heavier every day. Level 7, the National Manhunt. In your early 30s, your life becomes public property. A national segment runs your image, maybe blurred, maybe clearer than you prayed, and suddenly strangers are part of the hunt. A reward is announced. Your description spreads across phones, gas station TVs, motel lobbies, and comment sections full of people turning fear into sport. The world does not feel large. It feels wired together. A cashier pauses too long, and you leave without buying anything. A motel clerk glances from your face to the screen behind the desk, and your skin goes cold. Someone at a bus station turns his head twice, and the whole building seems to tilt toward you. You change clothes, lower your voice, avoid eye contact, then realize none of it feels like control. You are exhausted because being unseen is now a full-time job. Sleep comes in short pieces, broken by headlights, through curtains and hallway footsteps that may be nothing. The money is almost useless. Spending creates attention. Hiding it creates fear. Carrying it makes every bag feel like a confession. People online call you bold, stupid, dangerous, desperate. They invent names for you. They argue about what you will do next. But the truth is smaller. You are tired, hungry, alone, and scared of every ordinary human interaction. This is the rank people imagine as infamous, but it feels like shrinking into a body you cannot escape. Every stranger is a possible witness. Every mirror shows someone you no longer trust. Every mile from the old life still carries the same thing inside it. You. Manhunt does not just chase your body. It teaches your mind to hunt itself again, every second, everywhere. Level 8, the betrayed fugitive. Soon after the manhunt peaks, the collapse arrives in a form you should have expected. Someone talks. Maybe not from courage. Maybe not from guilt. Maybe only because fear becomes heavier than loyalty. One crew member disappears from every place he used to be. Another name appears in a report. A phone call goes unanswered, then news fills in the silence. You sit in a cheap room with the blinds half closed, hearing your future being traded by people who once promised they would never break. But betrayal is not really the twist. It was born the moment fear became the foundation of the crew. You remember the arguments, the loose talk, the jealous looks at money, the nervous jokes that were never jokes. Everyone was always calculating who would drown first. Now, the answer is becoming official. The damage spreads beyond you. Family members are questioned. Friends stop answering. A parent crises on a call and tries to sound strong, which hurts worse than anger. The money cannot protect them. It cannot protect you. It cannot even be used without leaving panic behind it. You think about running farther, but farther is no longer a direction. It is just another room where you wait for the ending to find you. For the first time, you stop pretending the story belongs to you. Every choice you made has become a door closing from the outside. The crew is gone. The fantasy is gone. The version of you who believed one crime could buy freedom feels like a stranger and a fool. In the final hiding place, the air is still, your phone is silent, and silence no longer feels safe. It feels like the last pause before consequences enter the room and say your name. Level 9, the prison legend. At 42, people know your story, but they do not know your life. In prison, a nickname follows you down concrete halls. Younger inmates ask what it felt like to be hunted, to see your face on the news, to have strangers whisper your name like a movie. They expect a legend. What you have is routine. Count time, meal trays, locked doors, fluorescent lights, calls that cost too much and end too fast. At first, you think the worst punishment is the sentence. Then you realize it is repetition, the same walls, the same footsteps, the same memory waiting when the noise fades. Years pass in pieces other people do not count. A nephew growing up without your voice, a parent aging between visits, a friend stopping letters because life outside moved on. The money is gone, seized, or useless now. It never became freedom. It became evidence, pressure, betrayal, and a story strangers tell wrong. Sometimes a young man sits near you and says he is thinking about doing something fast when he gets out, something that will make people respect him. You look at him and see the small room, the late bills, the DOLA 42 balance, the search you should have closed. You want to show him every hour after. The first sleepless night, the first siren that froze your blood, the first lie to your family, the crew that cracked, the courtroom where your name became a case number. Instead, you tell him truth, the money lies. It says one day of fear can buy years of peace, but fear only grows interest. It says being wanted means being powerful, but being wanted means you can no longer belong anywhere. It says a crew is loyalty, but fear turns loyalty into a countdown. He listens as prison makes warnings sound different. You are known here, yes, but not free. That is the joke behind the word legend. People remember the crime more easily than the cost. They do not see your hands on the visiting room table, unable to touch the years you missed. Through a small window, sunlight lands on the floor in a rectangle you cannot step through. It reminds you of the first room. Bills, cold food, life backed into a corner. Desperation told you the wrong story. It said the world owed you an exit. It never said every exit has a door that locks behind you. Outside, another young person is sitting with overdue notices, anger, and the same fantasy dressed like rescue. Maybe he thinks one score will change everything. Maybe he thinks fear will end when the money arrives. If your life is useful, let it be this warning. The first bad idea is already a chain when you start protecting it. You did not climb ranks, you descended rooms, smaller room, locked room. And when someone asks what it was really like, you do not smile. You say it was never worth the sound of the door closing.